Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome in to this video for the solar shift into Sagittarius. So first things first, if you are new, hi, welcome in. It is wonderful to have you here. What we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about astrology, and then we are going to be using our own astrology, learning about it, and then tapping into the spiritual tools of the oracle cards to get guidance on how to best utilize our personal astrology during this season. So if this is your first time here, you may want to go watch my tutorial video on how to get the most out of these readings. It is not necessary, but it's a tool there for you if you want to know how to engage with this material in a deeper way. For those who are not new, hello, welcome back. It is so wonderful to have you guys here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure for me to offer this support in this way. It brings me so much joy, and I hope you guys all know how much I truly love you, care for you, and am excited for your journeys. If you want to support me, there's many ways you can do that. Just engage with this material. Share it with people you think it will align with. You can also comment on it and let me know what is resonating for you, what questions you have. You can also donate if you feel inspired at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. And you can go to my website, devotedandvulnerable.com/services. Link is in the description if you want to learn more about the services that I offer. I offer card readings, I offer guided meditations, I offer a bunch of different other things, so go there and check it out if you feel called. No pressure. With all that being said, let's jump into Sagittarius season. I'm so excited to bring this energy to you guys. Sagittarius is my favorite sign. I am totally biased. I am a Sagittarian sun. I'm a Mercury Sagittarius. I'm a Saturn Sagittarius, and I'm a Uranus Sagittarius. So I am quite Sagittarian in my astrological makeup. Don't worry if that didn't make sense to you. Basically, I have a lot of Sag energy. So let's talk about what a solar season is. A solar season is when the sun, the spotlight of our solar system, is in a particular sign. The solar season of Sagittarius will start on November 22nd when the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius, and it will last until December 21st, until the solstice, when the sun will then move into the sign of Capricorn. So during this solar month, and I will refer to this as the month as we go through these readings. So please understand when I say this month, I do mean solar month, November 22nd to December 21st. We're going to be focusing on the Sagittarian energy, the Sagittarian archetype. So your readings are going to be based on where Sagittarius shows up for you in your chart. Essentially what planets, the sun, the moon, and or your rising sign exist in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, if you do not know what planets and aspects you have in the sign of Sagittarius, do not worry. This is part of what we do here in these readings. We learn about our astrology. To get caught up with your own astrology, to get access to your own chart, to know how to read it and find out what planets are in this sign, watch my tutorial video. I have this tutorial video created for how to find your birth chart information on astro.com. Link is popping up here, and it is also in the description if you want to go and enter in your birth data to that site. And you do need to know your birth time in order to access this information. So go ahead and watch my how to find your birth time tutorial to get caught up on how to find your birth time so that you have something to work with the chart generator. So we're going to be spotlighting the sign of Sagittarius by finding out what planet, the sun, the moon, and or the rising sign is in Sagittarius. You will watch the readings and the explanations for every single planet that you have in Sagittarius. So for example, I mentioned that my sun's in Sagittarius, so is my Mercury, so is my Saturn, and so is my Uranus. So technically I have 4 readings this month because I have 4 planets in the sign of Sagittarius. I know that might be a lot of information for you, but this is when the sun, the spotlight of our galaxy, is really highlighting these elements and aspects of your life. So it's really fun to dive into how this is showing up in your life, how this archetype may be expressing itself through you, through the planets. I'll describe in each video what the planet in the sign of Sagittarius really means before I dive into the reading and the advice. If you do not have your sun, the moon, your rising sign, or any of the planets in the sign of Sagittarius, there's a video for you called Background Sagittarius. I'll explain in that video what that means, but you can watch that video if you don't have any of those aspects. So a little bit more about Sagittarius. You want to look at your Sagittarian suns for this entire month as well. Watch how they shine. Watch how they act during this time. So anyone with a birthday between November 22nd and December 21st, I call it spying on the solar sign, so that you can really learn more about this energy. The Sagittarian archetype is the archetype of the archer. And the archer has this bow and arrow that it's aiming. And what is it aiming at? It's aiming at anything it wants to. But the thing that Sagittarius loves to aim at the most is truth. We love to aim at truth. Truth is one of our favorite things to aim at. It is essentially the energy of this archer and or centaur. So we can be adventurous. The Sagittarian sign is adventurous, congenial, which means likable, dreamy, very, very idealistic, very, very focused on what it is that we are wanting in our lives. We are optimistic. We're always looking at the positive side of things, and we are intellectual. So I say we because, yes, I am in the Sagittarian archetype, but this is going to show up somewhere in your life as well. So it refers to you as well, no matter where it shows up in your chart. So the modality of the Sagittarius, meaning the way that this energy expresses, is through the modality of what's called mutable. You see the little arch with the dot underneath it up there. And that's the symbol for mutable. Mutable signs are always the signs that happen during a change in seasons. So in the Northern Hemisphere, Sagittarius happens between the change from fall to winter. It's not quite winter yet, and fall's kind of winding down. And so the energy of the Sagittarius is very changeable, mutable, very adaptable. It's constantly shifting. The element of the Sagittarius is fire. It's represented here by the triangle. The triangle is the flame going up towards the sky. And so the element of fire represents the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. So when we put those two together, we have this changing spirituality. That is a lot of the essence of the Sagittarian archetype. Not only are we focused on truth, you have to be a seeker of knowledge in order to gain this truth. Through adventure and experience, we learn in our lives. And so it's this ever-changing spiritual nature of the Sagittarian archetype that we're going to be exploring and spotlighting for this entire solar month. I created a little explanation page here for you guys to show you a few different elements of the Sagittarian archetype. So you see here the symbol represented by the arrow. Next to it, we have, of course, the archetype, the archer. The planet that rules Sagittarius is the planet of Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion. It's all about luck. It's all about making things big and bright and energy. So the Jupiter energy is this amazing hugeness in our galaxy, in the story of the zodiac. And so it rules the Sagittarian sign because they're so very similar in their energies. The key word for Sagittarius is idealized. I would also say that the key word is truth. You can see here the constellation of Sagittarius. And again, we have the element of fire represented by the triangle, the modality of mutable, that changeable energy represented by the half circle and the dot, and the house of Sagittarius. So each zodiac sign represents or rules a house. So they go in the order of the zodiac story. So Aries is the first sign in the zodiac story, so it represents the first house. Sagittarius is the 9th sign in the zodiac story, so it rules and represents the 9th house. You can think of the planet as the what of your zodiac story, the sign as the how that what expresses, and the house as the where. So the where of the ninth house is very Sagittarian in energy. It is all about learning, travel, adventure, spirituality. It can deal with mental health. It can deal with higher learning. That is where the energy of the ninth house represents and shows up in our lives. Now, more about the houses will come through in my moon readings. The new moon in Sagittarius happens a day after this solar shift. So after you watch these videos, you definitely are going to want to watch the new moon in Sagittarius video, where we are going to be focusing on the house energies, where this new moon is showing up for us in our lives, and the advice that's coming through for the lunar phase of Sagittarius, which is going to start one day after the solar phase. All right. So for this reading, we are going to be consulting the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And if readings aren't your thing, please feel free just to watch the explanation of your energy and let yourself play with how that expresses throughout your solar month. But we can also use the cards to get more insight on how to really capitalize on this energy. The Isis Oracle wanted us to focus on freedom this solar phase. So freedom is a huge theme of the Sagittarian archetype. I haven't really talked about it yet, but it deals with this expansion. In order to be free, you have to be able to expand. In order to expand, you have to be able to be free. If you're confined, you're not able to expand and you're not free. So we're going to focus on how to get ourselves to open up to a more free way of living. That is what the Isis Oracle really wants to bring to us for this solar season of Sagittarius. So in order to focus on this freedom, the Isis Oracle is going to bring us this little poem, this little affirmation to say throughout our solar phase, to really activate within us this free expression that we are looking to embody during this Sagittarian season. This is a very, very powerful deck, and I am excited to share the medicine, the power, and the beauty and the wisdom that this deck has to offer. We have covered everything that we're going to cover here in this explanation video, and we're going to dive into our individual readings. So this reading is for you if the planet of Saturn was in the sign of Sagittarius when you were born. If you are already familiar with what this energy means, you can scroll ahead to the card reading. So the planet of Sagittarius represents in our chart our discipline and our routine. And discipline doesn't mean punishment. It means structure. It means schedule. It means routine. I myself am a Saturn in Sagittarius. So Saturn is a planet that is known as a generational planet because it moves through the zodiac in a slower way. And so it's in a sign for every 2.5 years. So those born in the same year, a little bit before and a little bit after you, are going to have this same energy and this archetype of this Saturn in Sagittarius. And then those born 28 to 30 years before you or 28 to 30 years after you will also have the same energy. Okay. So your discipline and your routine, your structure, represents itself through the Sagittarian archetype. So your structure and routine wants to be adventurous, wants to be congenial, idealistic, optimistic, and intellectual. Fire, spirituality, changing energies. So when it comes to your structure and your routine, you want to build in change and adaptability within a container of something that's structured. So you also want to build an adventure, like giving yourself time to go on an adventure, routinely giving yourself time to study, to learn, to expand, routinely giving yourself time to be around people you feel congenial with, you feel lit up by. This is important to build within the structure of your discipline and your routine. Now, Saturn as a planet tends to repress the sign that it's in order to give more emphasis and expression to that sign once this repression has happened. So it's kind of like a martial arts teacher who's going to be really, really hard on you to unlock your greatest potential. And because it doesn't return back to the same place in your chart for 28 years, 28 to 30 years, which is known as the Saturn return, this suppression happens until about 28 to 30, when all of a sudden we're set free and we really have this kind of shakeup in our lives where all of a sudden anything that was suppressed is now unsuppressed, and the themes of the Sagittarian archetype are really starting to move to the forefront of your awareness, and you're starting to learn about these things in a deeper way. So you may feel that this energy has been suppressed or was suppressed between 28 to 30 years of the beginning of your story, and then you receive another level of understanding. And if you're in your second Saturn return, which happens around 56, you are really starting to experience another level of expansion in the area of the Sagittarian energy and archetype. Okay, let's see what the Isis Oracle has to tell you about how to gain freedom within your structures and routine. And remember, I'm right here with you. My Saturn is also in Sagittarius. If you haven't already, taken a few deep breaths, called in your spiritual support team, and opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you, I invite you to do that at this time. All right, Saturn in Sagittarius, what is your guidance to freedom? Ooh, interesting. Truths unveiled came through, the revelations of Isis. I hate getting this card. Mars in Sagittarius also got this card, so if your Mars is also in Sagittarius, I love you, and I'm here for you. It probably means that there's 2 relationships in your life that are out of balance. My beautiful Mars and Sag. Okay. Yikes. All right, but let's focus on the optimism like our beautiful Sagittarian energies will do. Okay. Truths unveiled, the revelations of Isis. There are times when appearances of people, places, and things are truly deceptive. You will sense this when something feels uncomfortable within you, when you notice feelings of anxiety or doubt within you. You may think that there's something wrong with you, but actually you are intuitively sensing that something is not as it appears to be. It is wise to trust your inner feelings rather than being convinced by outward appearance. There is a situation in your life, especially involving relationships, where something is not as it is being made out to be. To avoid undue suffering later on, Isis guides you to truth and revelation now. Okay, so I would say that there is something in the realm of your structure and your routine. It might have to do with a father figure, with an authority masculine figure in your life, because that's what Saturn represents. It also represents the father. Forgot to mention that in the beginning here, but it does represent the masculine authoritative energy within your chart. I see it almost kind of like a grandfather energy, but it can represent your father as well. So when it comes to that energy, that archetype, and or the structures and disciplines and routines that you're setting in your life, it may be that there's something that you've chosen to do with your time that isn't aligned. It may be that there's someone in your space influencing how you're spending your time, and that's not quite aligned. Maybe something that you're routinely doing with another person is not aligned, that there's something there that you're not seeing, that she's trying to bring your awareness and attention to. We're going to find out this truth that needs to be unveiled, and we're going to give thanks for it, and we're not going to run from it and be afraid of it like I totally am doing right now. I hate getting this card. I get this card a lot. And I also give thanks for this card because it's opened my eyes to the things that I can't see. And it's okay that I can't see them, and it's okay to move forward in my life with new awarenesses. And I can't be free in my life, in my structures, in my routines, in my disciplines, until I have this awareness, until I realize where I'm putting my energy that's not serving me. So here's our affirmation. We're going to repeat this over and over again as much as it feels supportive to us to help us unveil the truth that is being revealed here through this card. Okay, through this solar season, through this spotlight. It's like, okay, you can't hide anymore. The spotlight is on you. This truth will come out and it'll bring freedom with it. Thank God. Okay. So if you have YouTube, you can put the captions on. It'll help you write this down. Let me say a few words, pause it, write that down, and then press play again. And keep doing that till you've written everything down. Eventually I'll find a better way to do this, but right now this is what we're going with. Gift me with your vision now. End the distortion or the vow that blocks the eye within my brow. I receive this knowing clear, without doubt, shame, or fear. Lies and deceptions disappear. Revelation of Isis, come to me swift. Thank you for the sight, the truth, the gift. Confusion into clarity, I now do shift. I would say this in the morning. I would say this at night. I would journal about this. I would write down what doesn't feel right to me, the places I think this is referring to, the places that automatically came to your mind. Especially the places you're like, I hope it's not that. Which probably means you've already received some guidance there, and it probably is that. Or at least open your heart to see where it is. This is a tough one, my beautiful Saturn and Sagittarians. And I know you're all here with me. Like, a lot of you were born around the same time with me. A lot of you have Saturn in Sagittarius. So I am sorry for bringing this to us in this way. And I'm excited for us to be free of this deception. Because staying in the lies just because it feels comfortable or just because we wish it was a different way isn't healthy for us. And Sagittarius is all about truth. Sagittarius is bringing the light of truth to this area of our life that we are blinded, and is bringing so much love and guidance along with it if we can just open our hearts to hearing what we need to hear, to seeing what we need to see, to feeling what we need to feel, to really recognize where this truth is being unveiled to us. What truth is being revealed to us. And remember that freedom is on the other side of this, that there's love and joy and optimism on the other side of this, that this will help us with our routines and structures and to create a life that's aligned for us. So it's a good thing. We can look at it with love, even though we may be resisting it. I totally am resisting it. When we got it with the Mars and Sagittarius card, I was like, oh, thank God that's not me. LOL, it is me. And it's you, and I love you, and I'm here with you, and I know that this stinks, but it's for our highest good, and we'll give thanks for it at the end of the solar season here, because it's going to help us move forward in a big, big way. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Let me know how I can support you through this. Let me know how this resonates with you. Check in with me at the end of the month. Let me know what truths were revealed to you. Definitely keep a journal to help you process if that feels good to you. Definitely repeat this as often as you need to, and allow yourself to really get clarity here so that you can be free. Be the awesome person that you are. Yeah. Okay. Namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.